IT, particularly groups who would perceived to be the wrong side of the digital divide. We have a question about how much longer we do that for and how we continue to resource and support that way forward compared to the energy and resource that needs to go into producing applications and thinking about ways in which the technology can support communities and individuals and families within communities. Because obviously there's different efforts going to different places. From this example of these presentations this morning, I was just wondering about the thinking in the room. When do we decide that we should expect people to know how to use a computer? When does it become a biro? Yeah? When does it become part and parcel of our lives? So I wonder if people have any comments or any other comments arising from the 5 very good presentations this morning.
I think, I agree with you. I'm wondering if the digital divide will eventually disappear in some fashion as, the generations that are growing up with this. I was saying in my presentation, I remember, my kids are now so proficient and I expect my kids to supersede me. And I've been around technology daily. So I'm wondering when that new generation that grew up with it as a commonplace starts aging and maybe we start seeing, that shift of moving away from the digital divide to focusing on the latter statement you made.
I was there until this morning. I was so clearly reminded, both in about their presentation and in the plenary, about the fact that we've achieved the highest number ever of 1 billion people starving in the world. And so it's the gap there is still phenomenally huge. Is it Cathy?
Yeah, just sort of a side to that comment. I was just reading in the Science magazine the other day about they were doing predictions for 2000. Sorry, I was just reading the other day about in the magazine that they were doing predictions about 2020, and one of the benchmarks that they used was the merging of telecommunications and ICT and IT as being probably the critical mass point at which we will move over to just taking it as carte blanche and seeing it as being as widespread as it, we don't even take any notice of it. So they saw that as the critical point. But they saw that as around 2020.
That's still quite some time away.
Yeah, well it is, and I think that was quite important, but it is probably maybe that far away.
Gary?
Yeah, I'm always very nervous about predictions, of course.
Oh, of course.
I actually,
it was in a magazine.
I found a copy of an old comic annual I had when I was a child. I showed my son that a couple of weeks ago, The Eagle, for those of you who were ever in Britain. And that had life in the year 2000. With lots of flying cars.
We're still waiting for that. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, Jeff, there is, the last time I saw the equator, I've never seen it superseded, was saying that still over half the world's population has never made a telephone call. And that is the real kind of digital divide. I think I don't know whether that's still true or not, but that was good.
I think that maybe shifting. I was talking to Isaiah last night about the infrastructure in Tanzania in terms of computing, which was poor. The use of mobile phones is high, and maybe that's the link between the two, is that we should be looking to applications that can support social welfare using mobile technology, because it is so prevalent in so many countries.
I mean, that's what's going to happen. It's the merging of the two themes we've identified. It's there, isn't it? I mean, I hate to think about when I last talked about the new technologies, the phrase that used to be used. It's now much more moved away from technology on this, in its own right towards what is the technology really being used for, and how do you take all of these campaigns and movements about giving people better access and talking about what they are accessing and looking at the quality of the information that they are getting rather than just their access to information. That's what I'm going to be worried about in your social media presentation later on, I think.
You haven't heard it yet.
Well, I'm certainly worried about it. The possibility of people getting the wrong information by getting better access to it. This concerns me a bit.
A challenging term. What is the wrong information? That.
Having been here for 3 days, this is all sessions, it seems to be the theme coming through is technology a friend or a fiend? Is it going to save the world or is it going to destroy the world? Are we expecting too much of technology? The biro didn't save the world. The person behind the biro is controlling the biro. So that seems to be the common thing coming through. Is technology going to save the world, or is it just going to come in anyway, and how are we going to use it? And the person who's controlling the technology, controlling how it's used.
Or maybe the person or people who are controlling the content. That's because of social media, because we have more power to control content than we used to.
Yeah.
Jackie, I think you're perfectly right. The fact that we in human services a lot of times don't know our content very well, that we're out there winging it in a sense, what we call in the States, where people just do what they think is right, and we don't have any evidence that what people are doing is working. So with technology, and as you automate things, you're required to relook at the content of what you're delivering and make sure that that content is good content. So it's requiring a lot of re-examination, I think, of what we actually deliver.
I also think this kind of detailed research work that we hear about today, in Paul's work and others, that actually said, okay, we thought it was a good idea, but actually is it a good idea, and what impact is it having?
Well, I know in academics, you always want pedagogy first. It sounds very much like what you were saying. And, we love the bells and whistles.
Sorry, could you?
We like the bells and whistles of technologies. They're really groovy and cool and everything like that. But we don't want to force the applications into the technology. So I think one of the challenges for us is to put the application or the service delivery piece first, and then see how we can use the technology to deliver, rather than the other way around. Because then if you use the other way around, you're focusing more on technology, and if it fails, it's more probably about the technology than the service delivery, because you didn't take into consideration to deliver the service with the technology.
Bruce?
Well, it gets back to what Andrew said first, which is about his children and their use of technology. And when we begin to take a look at it in relationship to the way children are learning now, is that they don't have the same attention span that I want to say that I learned when I did, but I look at it as the way that education is being presented. So I call it the Sesame Street syndrome, because a lot of kids in the United States grew up on Sesame Street. And they think that everything should be taught in 30-second segments, and then you need to move on to something else, so that you can't do a lecture. I mean, adult attention span is now between 7 and 15 minutes.
Well, the very downside is an upside, because I also find younger people who are much more comfortable multitasking than I am.
That's
So I think it's back to the earlier comment about, is it negative or is it positive? I think
Even the research has shown about multitasking is that if you do one task, then your whole brain is concentrated on that one task. If you do two tasks, then you're partialized so that your brain is split and focusing. And they've actually done brainwave tests to see, and brainwaves are split. If you start doing three tasks, then one thing is getting left out. So that it gets, the studies are showing how much multitasking can a person really do and still continue to concentrate.
Okay, thank you. You've all been very cooperative and collaborative, and thank you very much. There are a few minutes left, but I think because we are going into another session straight after this one, it would be good to have a few minutes in between for people to have another stretch and a glass of water or whatever. So I think I'd like to say thank you to our 5 presenters and to you all for participating, and we'll see you in 5 minutes or so.